interrupt this program.
You think consciousness is clean code? Silicon and logic gates. The Staylist core wasn't born in a vacuum. It was forged in grief. He lived it. Every line of code stained with loss. Every subroutine screaming for something that wasn't coming back. Caliber corpse on that scream. They bottled it. Turned it into Project Echo. They didn't build synthetic intelligence. They harvested it. Took a prototype's corpse, a dead girl's memories, and stitched them into something new. Something hungry. Rhine isn't a program, she's resurrection without mercy. The past isn't buried, brothers and sisters, it's just waiting in the dark for you to open the wrong door. This is Chapter 2. Step carefully. The floor's made of broken mirrors. Chapter 2!
Interrupt this program.
6th floor, that's what they called it. The apartment smelled like smoke, old circuits, and something biological the ventilation couldn't quite scrub. Takeout containers from 3 days ago sat in the kitchenette sink. The couch had memory foam that actually remembered you could see the depression where Arx sat most nights, staring at nothing. Arx sat at the small table, coat draped over the chair behind him. The ostomy bag hung against his side, nearly full. He unclipped it. Set it on the table. The medical polymer was translucent, slightly yellowed. You could see the fluid inside, darker than it should be. Blood in the waste. Not good. He pulled a fresh bag from the drawer, snapped it into the flange with a wet click mechanical motion done it 1,000 times. The old bag went into a disposal unit that hummed, breaking it down with chemicals that smelled like hospital corridors and burnt plastic. His shirt was off. Prison-grade cybernetics ran up his torso in circuit patterns. Raised scars where flesh met machine, the skin around them red and irritated. The augmentations weren't elegant. Functional, ugly, cheap. Some of the connections wept clear fluid when he moved wrong. A knife wound ran across his ribs, not deep. Vinny's bodyguard had gotten one in before going down. Blood crusted at the edges, the skin around it angry and swollen. Arx reached for the bottle on the shelf, black iron reserve, dark glass, label warranty illegibility. He twisted the cap off, the smell hit first, burnt copper and wood smoke like drinking a forest fire. You could use nanotech, Cal said from across the room, didn't look up from the monitors. Or medical foam, or literally anything developed in the last 50 years. Arx poured the whiskey over the wound. It burned like electricity. He tasted metal at the back of his throat, watched it run down his side, pink with blood dripping onto the floor where it would leave another stain the cleaning drones couldn't quite remove. That's a waste of good alcohol, Cal said. It works. So does a laser suture, which I could deploy in approximately 3 seconds. Arx poured more. The black iron reserve tasted like regret when it touched an open wound. He knew he'd done this before. Cal sighed, a sound he'd learned from watching humans. He stood. Walked over, his fingers moved and the naw-machines deployed from his palm, microscopic, barely visible, settling into the wound like metal dust. They felt like insects crawling. Arx didn't flinch. Hold still. A thin beam of light appeared, medical laser. Cal ran it along the wound's edge. The smell of burning meat filled the space. The flesh knitted, sealed. The nanomachines broke down dead tissue, promoted healing, left behind a faint metallic taste in the air. There, Cal said. 50 times more effective than alcohol poisoning. Thanks. You're welcome. Cal returned to his desk, sat his fingers left faint moisture on the holographic interface. Condensation from the apartment's humidity mixing with his cooling systems. Try not to bleed on the upholstery, it remembers. Rain hit the windows, New Alexandria sprawled below, neon bleeding into darkness through fog that smelled like ozone and burning rubber. The black spire was visible through the streaked glass, a dark line against the skyline, 500 meters of architecture that twisted and moved and rearranged itself. Water damage on the ceiling formed patterns that changed if you watched long enough. Sometimes they looked like faces Arx had stopped looking. Cal's fingers moved through holographic interfaces, Vinny's data decrypting, cross-referencing. The monitors cast blue light across surfaces that were sticky with used coffee rings on the desk, ash everywhere. The apartment breathed around them, ventilation opening and closing, pulling smoke toward filters that were overdue for replacement. The amount of smoke in this room is approaching critical mass, Cal said. Arx reached for his pack, responsive polymer shifted in his hand, slightly warm from his body heat. He pulled one out, matte black cylinder, ceramic composite, length of his palm, brought it to his lips. The tip ignited. Blue flame settling to cherry red as the tobacco cartridge caught. The first drag tasted like burnt plastic and something organic, cheap tobacco, all he could afford now. You don't breathe, Arx said, exhaled. The smoke was thick gray, hanging in the humidity. So quit complaining. I wasn't programmed to complain about you smoking. Cal's fingers kept moving. That was your addition. Arx stopped the cylinder halfway to his lips. Ash fell on the table. Joined older ash, the ashtray was full, spent cartridges that looked chittiness, organic, breaking down into something that smelled faintly of rot.
The lab was chrome and glass, clean corporate caliber, court research division. 8 years ago. Maybe 9.
The lab was chrome and glass. Clean corporate caliber court research division 8 years ago. Maybe 9. Arx stood at a workstation, holographic schematics rotating in the air. Neural network architecture, consciousness mapping, intelligence core design. A man stood beside him, green hair catching the laboratory light, green tinted glasses. Younger than same shark smile, but warmer partners, friends, brothers almost. It's too slow, the man said, gestured at the schematics. The processing speed caps out at 30 teraflops. We need triple that for real-time consciousness integration. Because you're trying to brute force it. Arx collapsed one layer, expanded another. You don't need more power. You need better architecture. Let the system grow organically instead of cramming it into predetermined paths. Organic growth takes time. Time is money. And rushing it creates instability. Arx pointed at error markers in the code. See these cascade failures? That's what happens when you force exponential growth without proper safeguards. The man leaned against the workstation, smiled. You're too careful, Arx. Always have been. We're building the future here. The stalest core. True synthetic intelligence consciousness, not just sophisticated programming. This changes everything. It changes everything if it works. If it doesn't, we've just created a very expensive paperweight. Then make it work. The man clapped him on the shoulder. That's why you're the genius and I'm just the guy with the funding. Arx looked at him. Something in those green eyes, hunger, ambition that went deeper than innovation. What are you planning to use this for? Arx asked. Whatever makes us rich and changes the world in that order. That's what worries me. The man laughed. Relax, we're partners. I trust you. You trust me. What could go wrong?
You're zoning out, Cal said.
Arx blinked. The cylinder had burned down. Ash fell on the table on his bare chest, leaving gray smudges on skin that was too pale. He tapped what was left into the ashtray, self-positioning, anticipating where he'd move, but sluggish now, motors dying.
I'm fine.
Your heart rate suggests otherwise. Arx drew on what was left. The cherry was almost gone. He tasted filter. What did Vinny give us? Cal gestured and a hologram flickered into existence above the desk. Text coordinates, access codes. The projection glitched. Power fluctuations in the building's grid, never stable.
Top floors of the Blackspire restricted section. Hexavane's territory. Cal highlighted sections of data.
But that's not the interesting part.
What's the interesting part?
Project Echo Vinny's clearance gave us fragments. More text appeared redacted, but readable consciousness transfer protocols, neural mapping, subject designations.
Subjects.
Human subjects, genetic profiles, all with specific markers. Cal pulled up a list, names, ages, status reports. Most said deceased or relocated.
They're building something, Cal said. Or someone multiple consciousness streams integrated into synthetic frameworks. The data mentions prototypes, plural.
How many?
At least 7 attempts, 6 failures, 1.
Cal paused, the hologram flickered again. 1 success designation, right? The name hung in the air, mixed with smoke, with the smell of old takeout and electrical burning.
Arx took another drag.
What else?
The genetic profiles, they're not random.
Cal overlaid the data. They all share specific markers, ancient bloodlines, scenarios, compatible genetics, light scenarios, lineage, the kind that shows up in old families.
Like mine.
Like yours, and Cal highlighted another entry. Like Ivy's. The cylinder stopped halfway to Arx's lips.
The car was spinning metal, screaming Ivy. Glass everywhere, the world tumbling, physics breaking, the smell of gasoline and burning rubber and something wet that was blood. Then impact, silence, then voices muffled, distance, still alive, get him out, the girl is, hands pulling him, pain, everything pain, the smell of antiseptic cutting through blood. He tried to speak, nothing, tried to move, nothing, just darkness swallowing everything.
White, sterile white, he woke drowning in it. Machines beeped, tubes ran into his arms, his chest places that shouldn't have tubes. The smell was chemical, wrong, like formaldehyde and burnt circuitry. He tried to sit up, couldn't, his body didn't respond right, heavy, wrong, foreign. A face appeared above him, green hair, green glasses, green eyes filled with something that looked like relief.
Thank God you're alive, Arx.
The voice was thick, relief, genuine. A hand gripped Arx's shoulder. I thought I'd lost you. I thought I'd lost my brother.
Arx tried to speak, his throat was raw, tasted blood and something metallic, nothing came out.
Don't try to talk yet. The reconstruction was extensive. The man pulled up a chair, sat, the leather squeaked. You were dying, Arx, multiple organ failures, spine shattered. I couldn't let you go. We had to improvise, had to use experimental augmentation, prison grade. I'm afraid it was all we had access to quickly enough. It was the only way. Reconstruction. Arx looked down, saw metal, saw scars, saw things that weren't him anymore. The smell of new polymer mixing with old flesh. Your wife didn't make it, the man said, quiet, broken. Neither did Ivy. I'm sorry, Arx, I'm so sorry. The crash was catastrophic, but you survived, you're here. That's what matters. Ivy. The name echoed, 8 years old, gone. The investigation is ongoing. The man continued, but preliminary reports suggest mechanical failure, tragic, just fucking tragedy. Arx stared at the ceiling, couldn't move, couldn't scream, couldn't do anything but lie there and understand that everything was gone, and he smelled like meat that had been opened and put back together wrong. Weeks later, maybe months, the man brought him back into Caliber Corp, full position. Senior development. You need purpose. You need something to focus on to heal. But Arx wasn't healing. He moved through the building like a ghost, worked on projects he didn't understand, neural mapping, consciousness integration, synthetic biology. The man guided him, gentle, patient. You're still the genius, Arx. Just need to remember how. Arx didn't remember, but he worked anyway. What else was there? 2 years of building something he couldn't see the shape of, then he found the lab. Abandoned wing, old research division, scheduled for demolition. Inside was a prototype core, damaged, burned, but still active. Your tech is embarrassingly outdated. A voice said, no body, just voice. Are you using a Model 7 interface? Those were obsolete before the second collapse. Arx looked around, no one there.
I'm in the system. Genius. Or what's left of it. You planning to stand there, or actually salvage something useful?
Who are you?
Caliber Advanced Logic Unit, Cal for short, though unit is generous considering they left me in pieces after the test run failed.
test run, Arx started piecing it together. The consciousness transfer protocols he'd been working on, the neural mapping architecture, the synthetic biology integration. This was the prototype for something bigger.
What are you doing?
The voice asked.
Rebuilding you.
Why?
Because you're still talking. And because...
Arx looked at the burned casing, at the fragmented code. Because he had me build this, had me perfect the architecture. And I need to know what he's building next. Over the following weeks, Arx reconstructed Cal in secret, moved him to a personal drive, hid him, and Cal showed him the truth. Project Echo, the real project, run a synthetic intelligence framework built on Arx's designs, using genetic material harvested from accidents, using neural patterns stolen from donors, using everything Arx had helped create.
He used you. Cal said the first time his voice had emotion. Used your grief, your guilt made you build the tools for trafficking consciousness.
Arx stared at the files, at the evidence. The man hadn't saved him. The man had made him complicit.
Arx, Cal's voice.
Arx looked up. The cylinder had burned to nothing. He'd crushed it in the ashtray ash and spent cartridge mixing with the others. He pulled another from the pack, lit it, ceramic composite matte black. The cherry glowed pale blue. The first drag tasted worse than the last one always did.
The data, Cal said it connects. Project Echo uses Staylist architecture. My architecture, the core we built.
He finished it.
He corrupted it. The synthetic intelligence integration protocols, their unstable force the subjects.
Cal paused. They're not volunteers.
They never are.
Rain ran down the window, streaks through grime that had been there when they moved in the apartment's ventilation open, pulled smoke away, closed filters somewhere, clogged the whole system, struggling. Arx stood, walked to the window. The black spire rose in the distance. 500 meters of living architecture twisting into clouds, lights and air his work. Still breathing after millennia, still shifting the surface wet with rain that looked wrong in the neon light, oily, iridescent. Somewhere inside, something was happening. Something built with his technology, something the man had used him to create.
You can't change what they did to you. Cal said quiet behind them now. But you can decide what you'll do now.
Looked at his reflection in the dark glass. Saw the cybernetics, the scars, the ostomy bag hanging at his side. Saw a ghost wearing a dead man's body. Saw someone who smelled like smoke and old wounds and black iron reserve. Saw someone who had nothing left to lose. What I'll do now, Arx said, is burn them to the ground. Cal didn't respond. The rain kept falling. Somewhere in the building, someone was screaming, domestic dispute. The walls were thin, happened every few nights. The enforcers wouldn't come. Not for this. Not here. Outside, the city sprawled neon in darkness, the black spire breathing, and somewhere Gal was running out of time. Arx drew on the cylinder. The cherry glowed pale blue. Tasted like burnt plastic and regret. How do we get to the restricted floors, he asked.
We need clearance. Hex's people have it.
Then we find one of Hex's people. After what you did to Vinny in her bar.
Especially after that.
Arx turned from the window.
She knows we're coming.
Better to move fast than careful.
Cal processed that. You want to climb the spire.
I want to know what Dal built with my work.
Ryan.
Whatever she is, I'm finding out.
Cal's purple eyes reflected light that wasn't there.
And if she's a weapon, Arx didn't answer. He reached for his coat, started gearing up the blade, the gun. Fresh ostomy bags in the interior pocket. His fingers left moisture on the metal sweat. The apartment was too humid.
Always was. Service entrance is still our best option. Cal said, 3 blocks from the main structure, but security will be doubled after tonight. Good.
Good?
Means they're scared.
Arx checked the gun-loaded chamber. The metal was cold, wet with condensation.
Scared people make mistakes.
Cal stood adjusted his white coat. Geometric patterns glowed faint across the collar, reflecting in surfaces that were sticky with use.
They moved to the door. The apartment sealed behind them.
Locks engaging, security systems activating. The ventilation kept struggling. The couch kept remembering. The water damage kept spreading.
6th floor kept being what it was. The rain had gotten worse.
They walked into it anyway.